Broadcasting from RTN 16 Studios, welcome to Spotlight on Rowlett. I'm Tammy Dana-Bashian, Mayor of Rowlett.
And I'm Brian Funderburk, Rowlett City Manager.
Recently, the City of Rowlett unveiled the Strategic Plan Community Dashboard. The dashboard illustrates important key results and highlights the accomplishments of city staff. On today's show, we're going to give you an overview of the strategic plan and how to navigate the new community dashboard. Let's get the show started with this month's Spotlight story. Adopted last year, the City of Rowlett Strategic Plan provides vision and structure for our continued collaboration, goal setting, and progress across all areas of local government. This plan reflects the input of engaged citizens, community and business partners, Rowlett City Council members, and city staff. The city's mission, vision, and values were developed to provide the bedrock for the plan's 7 key outcome areas. Govern transparently and inclusively, ensure a safe community, strengthen neighborhood livability, enhance quality of life, foster economic vitality, invest in transportation and infrastructure, and to promote operational excellence. Recently, I had a chance to sit down with Assistant City Manager Mark McAvoy to discuss the strategic plan and the newly released community dashboard. Let's take a look. I'm here with Mark McAvoy, Assistant City Manager. Thank you for joining me, and we're going to talk about the strategic plan and our new strategic plan dashboard.
Absolutely, it's a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Talk, I guess, a little bit about what is the strategic plan and how is it beneficial to the community?
Absolutely. The strategic plan is no different than, its name really describes it well. It really shapes the actions of an organization, in this case, the city. If an individual is operating a small business, they may have a strategic plan to get them from idea to execution and then be able to track and report along the way so they know how they're progressing against that. They typically would set goals and objectives that are focused on their mission and vision. We, in addition to that, have focused ours on our organizational values. And from that, we have designed a plan that includes high-level priorities, goals, strategies, and activities that staff then takes out into the operation of the organization and does different things, whether you are or a staff member is in public works or police or community development. They're each doing work that is tied to the city's mission, but it's defined by the plan and allows us to be able to focus resources, energy, time, and effort to making sure that we are pursuing and achieving the community's objectives.
That was a very comprehensive answer. Thank you very much. You know, there were some real key words in that answer. Mission, we redid our mission statement.
We did.
Vision, we redid our vision. Values, we defined our values and set strategic priorities. And then I think there's, tasks for everybody throughout the organization underneath those strategic priorities to help us meet that vision and meet those goals and do it in accordance with our values. Is that a fair statement?
That's absolutely correct. So regardless of where you are in the organization, what this strategic plan or any good strategic plan ought to do is tie you to, as an employee, as an agent of that organization, to the organization's mission, vision, and values. You can be someone who is outdoors working on street maintenance. You can be an accountant. You can be someone who works in our utility billing office, a librarian. Regardless of where you are or what you're doing, a good strategic plan will allow you as an employee to know where you fit in the organization, what your contribution to the mission is, and then to track your individual progress, not only against those tasks and objectives, but then to see how your entire unit is performing in the city as a whole. As time is going by and you're accomplishing certain tasks, adding new ones to the mix, all with the expected outcome of providing the community a value at the end of the day.
And I think the last strategic plan we rolled out was 2004, 2005.
It was in that
I'm
time
close.
frame, yes, yes.
And we rolled this new strategic plan out after a lot of community involvement and work by not only city staff, but citizen volunteers and boards and commissions representation and lots of community interaction. And when did we roll that strategic plan out?
It was officially adopted by council in September of 2018, but like you said, that was after many months of community engagement, individual stakeholder engagement. We held multiple group meetings for different types of stakeholders throughout the community, residents, businesses, guests, all across the spectrum and demographic of the city of Rowlett, so that we understood what the community's desires were, what their needs were, and we incorporated all of those elements into the plan.
You know, what I really like what we're doing is everything we do, whether it's externally and even internally, is centered around that strategic plan. You know, you can see our city council work packages are identifying every strategic priority in regards to when we consider something. The budget was centered around the strategic plan. I think, you know, performance criteria is being centered around the tasks underneath the strategic plan. So we really have absorbed this into our culture and really trying to perform to those strategic priorities.
That's correct, and I like the word absorption because that's really what it is. It's one thing to adopt a plan and just act against it. This really is something that we've made an intentional effort to get buy-in across the board, from the bottom of the organization to the top and from one side to the other, so that it becomes part of who we are, not just what we do. And I think that although there's still work to be done in that regard, and there always will be, that has been one of our primary objectives with this planning effort, is to make sure that it becomes part of our culture, who we are, versus just simply what we do.
So have we met all our priorities in our strategic plan?
We are in the process of meeting those. So the strategic plan that we've adopted, the one that we just talked about being adopted in September of 2018, is essentially a 5-year horizon level plan.
Right.
And so as you look over that 5-year time frame, you would expect to see things starting and stopping this year, overlapping into next year, and then throughout those 5 years. And so as you look through the plan, there may be some things in there that aren't scheduled to begin maybe until year 3. But as you look through the plan, you definitely see progress towards objectives. You see accomplishments happening now and will continue to happen through that 5-year period.
And be refined throughout that 5-year period.
Absolutely, yes.
So we're here today to talk about this again because we've recently rolled out a dashboard for our public to be able to see the status of our progress on our strategic priorities.
We have, and the dashboard is one component of the what I would call the reporting aspect of the strategic plan. It's not the plan itself. What it does essentially is it packages information about progress against certain goals and strategies so that it is understandable, it's in a central location, it's unified in the sense that it's got some standard looks and feels, and it communicates a message that's easy to understand.
And so are we going to take a look at this dashboard?
We are.
Great. So let's take a look, Mark.
All right, well, here we are at Rowlett.com, and as you can see, the banner that I mentioned is presently right here with a bright orange graphic. If you click on the link, it takes you to this page, and then the community dashboard link is right in the bottom left. So our strategic priorities that are called out in the document are what you are going to see when you come into the public dashboard. The dashboard is essentially a website that we're looking at here, and if we want to take a look at any of these priorities, there are 7 of them, we can go into any of those and just click the photo and it drills down to the next layer. And so what you can see here, if you look up at the top left, is a list of goals for each of our priorities, and then there is a list below that of all of the strategies associated with those goals. And as you become acclimated to this, what you're going to see is a strategy that's identified, and then if that strategy presently has any actions associated with it that are being updated, you will see a status with either an on track or a completed label associated with it. And so, Mayor, when we were talking a minute ago about what you should expect to see over the 5-year period, some of these things may or may not have actions that have already been started, but they all soon will.
So does that mean that every single one of these has a date associated with it?
Every single one of these strategies has actions that have dates associated with them. That's correct.
Great, that's wonderful.
Another aspect of the dashboard that we want to highlight is making sure that the public knows that there are also performance measures associated with this that they are able to keep track of. Each priority has at least one measure. Most of them have more than one. Here you can see on the ensure public safety priority, we've got 5. But for example, if we want to see over the course of the last 12-month period how police calls, the average response time of police calls, we have that available. So simply clicking anywhere in that image will enlarge it so that you can see it really clearly. And what you can see here is that we've got a number of police calls, 911 calls specifically. Those are going to be tracked on the left side. So the number on the left is what is associated with the number of calls, and then the number on the right, which is a time, is associated with the average response time from call to arrival. Similar measures for fire response times. We've got some information about how much firefighter training is being delivered. We've got crime rate information. So this is especially the uniform crime reporting is a standard number that we're able to take this number and kind of compare ourselves with other municipalities. We index this for every 1,000 residents. And so as you can see, as an example, in October of 2018, there were just under 3 reported crimes per 1,000 residents. And these are broken up as essentially crimes against person, crimes against property, and crimes against society. We recommend that you use Google Chrome. The public dashboard will work with Firefox and Safari and some others. Doesn't work as well on Internet Explorer, but the best experience that we've found so far is using Google Chrome.
Well, thank you very much for all your hard work on this. It's important that our communities see exactly what we're doing to meet our strategic priorities and to meet our goals as a community. So it's a very, very good tool to help our public understand what we're doing.
Absolutely. It's been my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
What a great interview, Mayor.
You know, it's really important that we show the community what we're doing with the strategic plan. You know, it's one thing to have the plan, and it's another thing to, work the plan, but we also have to account for the plan and be accountable to our taxpayers. So it's a really, really good tool.
That's right, Mayor. And the other interesting thing about this is that this serves as staff's work plan as well as the City Council's work plan. And all those strategies that Council has developed, the 7 priorities, the strategic goals, strategies to develop those and produce those goals, and then all the tasks and initiatives behind that. There are literally hundreds of various steps that we do every year to make sure we're accomplishing our goals.
And every single employee throughout the city has a responsibility to the strategic plan, and that's real important. That helps you manage to those priorities.
That's correct, Mayor. So we have accountability, we have transparency, it's public out there. We have reports that will be going out to council every month, and then at the end of that, we'll also have meetings with the City Council to let you know exactly what's going on with each priority. On the night of Sunday, October 20th, the DFW area experienced a tornado outbreak causing widespread damage. In terms of major damage, Rowlett was very fortunate. There were no fatalities and only a few homes had major damage. This map, recently published in the Dallas Morning News, shows the tornado routes in our area, including 2 perhaps in Rowlett. We assisted our neighbors in Saxey and Richardson the night of the tornadoes with 2 fire engines and sent Public Works employees to Richardson to help with the aftermath. The following day, after the damage was assessed, we began cleaning and repairing damage to city parks, rights-of-ways, and properties. FCC utilized 2 grapple trucks to help clean neighborhoods. One truck deployed at the lakes of Springfield removed over 100 cubic yards of debris in just one day. Also, we have offered residents who experienced storm damage 2 additional landfill tickets. FCC will still be picking up the debris if it is placed in the normal pickup spot. Our outdoor warning system alerts citizens to seek shelter during a severe weather event. This system is tested monthly on the first Wednesday at 1 p.m. Even though the system was tested just before the storm, Mother Nature can wreak havoc with technology. During the storm, our tower that maintains the system's brain was struck by lightning, which caused the system to malfunction and not activate. Lightning protection measures were in place on the tower. However, the volume of the lightning was significant. All damage was immediately repaired and the system has been tested and is now operational. Communicating severe weather events with our citizens is of the utmost importance. Now is the perfect time to remind you about an important resource that the City of Rowlett offers: Connect Rowlett. Connect Rowlett is used to alert those who are indoors or away from home to approaching dangerous weathering conditions so that appropriate safety measures can be taken. Connect Rowlett is an emergency notification system allowing residents to opt in and receive information via phone call, text message, or email based on locations and subjects relevant to you. We encourage you to sign up for Connect Rowlett by visiting the link on the screen. Mayor, another tornado in Rowlett, perhaps 2 in the same night.
Just unbelievable.
How scary was that?
You know, just 4 years ago, and here we are again. Thank goodness all our residents were safe. And while those that suffered property damage, it was significant. It was very isolated to a few areas. So we're able to get our arms around this one much better than we were last time.
You know, and it is surprising that considering how many places it touched Rowlett that there wasn't more damage, but just thank goodness for that. The other thing that I wanted to say is that we were very pleased to help other communities. When we had our tornado 4 years ago, cities all over DFW and places even beyond that were just pouring in resources to Rowlett to help. And this time we got to pay some of that back.
You know, and this is going to be ongoing. This had widespread effect on our neighboring communities, and you know they're going to be suffering through this for many, many months. So just encourage the public to continue to help those in need. And we will continue to do that as a community to help our neighboring communities. You know, and please, I can't encourage you enough to sign up for Connect Rowlett. It's an incredible service. Not only will it notify you of weather emergencies, it can notify you of safety issues. We've used that often throughout the town when there's an event happening that we want residents to know about. So very, very good service. My phones all over the place were lighting up that night and have every time we've needed to be notified. So
sign up now.
The Waterview Golf Club reopened on November 1st after undergoing extensive renovations. In May 2018, Rowlett voters approved a bond package that included $1.1 million for a full greens renovation. In January 2019, American Golf agreed to oversee the project and continue a partnership with the city for management of Waterview Golf Course. Improvements include the renovation of 165,000 square feet of greens to TIFF Eagle Bermuda and the replacement of retaining walls on holes 3, 8, and 18 with Ready Rock. Our contract operator, American Golf, is funding and completing additional projects such as reworking the current bunkers, replacement of cart path, general cleanup of the course, and clubhouse cleanup. The renovation of the Waterview Golf Club fits with the city's strategic priority of enhancing quality of life with a strategic goal to create a destination-centered park system. We are excited to see Waterview Golf Club become a premier destination for championship play in the DFW area. In spring 2020, we will hold an official grand opening celebration. We hope you can make it. I've seen the course. It's some unbelievable improvements to that course.
You know, Mayor, it's hard to think, today we're into November and every bunker has been replaced. All the greens have been replaced, tee boxes and cart paths and all the other improvements that are made. It's like a new golf course.
It is absolutely like a new golf course, and the bunker placement is very strategic. We took some bunkers out, we put some new bunkers in, we placed them. Golf today is much different than it was when this course opened up 20 years ago. So it was important that we really made some significant improvements to this course.
And as you said, it is absolutely beautiful, and I know people just cannot wait to play it. The City of Rowlett is now streaming council meetings and planning and zoning meetings with closed captioning, both live and on demand. Closed captioning for streaming media is the method of displaying a text version overlay for the spoken words within a video. This assists viewers who may be deaf or who have reduced hearing. Both the live stream and archive videos of these Rowlett public meetings meet the FCC mandated ADA requirements for closed captioning. This new functionality improves transparency and accessibility for the citizens of Rowlett. We've also enhanced our streaming video page on Rowlett.com. An indexed agenda now accompanies on-demand videos, making it seamless for viewers to jump to meetings, topics, or agenda items that are most relevant to them. And finally, we're now live streaming in HD to any mobile device. You can access the streaming video page and the live broadcast feed of RTN16 by clicking the RTN16 icon on the front page of Rowlett.com. Mayor, I can't tell you how excited I am that we have closed captioning now. It is kind of funny, but my wife and I like to watch a lot of British shows, and without closed captioning, I'm not sure it would be possible. And so many of our residents that want to tune in and watch without closed captioning, they really can't.
It's just another extension of our strategic plan, transparency, inclusivity. It's important. That's how a lot of people watch video and watch shows now. They want that closed captioning, and not only helps our individuals that have a hearing impairment, it just is the 21st century. Every month, we answer your emails on air about city-related topics. It's a segment we call Ask the Mayor. Brian, let's check the inbox for some emails.
Our email this month asks, what are the plans for the Rowlett North Shore?
Great question. We love telling the public about our North Shore. With over 1,300 available acres of privately owned land prime for commercial development, our North Shore Commercial District provides a one-of-a-kind opportunity to bring more businesses with quality jobs and diversify the local economy. Strategically located on the President George Bush Turnpike, the North Shore Commercial District is envisioned as a commercial district and employment hub. The city's vision for the North Shore Commercial District is to identify companies and businesses that desire access to a diverse employment base, high standards of building development, clusters of restaurants, and available public amenities including walking trails and parks. With the recent influx of companies into the DFW Metroplex, especially in Plano, Richardson, and Frisco area, Rowlett is well situated to capitalize on continued growth in our area. In order to attract the right type of industries, the City of Rowlett developed a target industry and market feasibility analysis in 2016 to better understand the existing conditions and market, which influences the development patterns in the area. While the study helped develop the plans, the timing of the development within North Shore depends on the availability of infrastructure, support of property owners, and policy and regulations to ensure this will remain primarily a commercial district. The top 4 targets for the North Shore Commercial District are advanced manufacturing, business professional services, educational services, healthcare, and life sciences. Brian, the North Shore is really important, strategic to our community. This city council, and for the last several city councils, has been very emphatic that we retain that area for jobs and commercial development. And that's really, really important from a policy standpoint.
Mayor, it absolutely is. And as you know, in this market right now, there are things that can be built anywhere. Everybody wants to build more, homes or whatever. But this is Rowlett's last bastion for commercial development. And if we don't protect it now and do everything we can do to set it up for success, then we will not get the kind of employment base we've wanted for so long.
And it's not a quick hit. This is something that's going to take a long, long time. It has taken time, and it's going to continue to take time. We have a lot of property owners out there, and we need to attract the right type of employment hub commercial district. Thanks for the question. If you have a question you'd like to ask the mayor about any city-related topic, please email askthemayor@rowlett.com.
This month's Spirit of Rowlett Award winner is Mike Britt. This award recognizes Rowlett residents doing extraordinary things for our community. Do you know someone who has made a difference in Rowlett? Nominate them for the Spirit of Rowlett Award at rowlett.com/spirit. Let's watch the interview with this month's winner, Mike Britt.
I am Councilmember Pam Bell. I'm here today with Mike Britt, winner of the November 2019 Spirit of Rowlett Award. Congratulations, Mike.
Thank you, Pam. I appreciate that.
I appreciate you too.
It's a pleasure.
Well, Mike, I would like to ask you a couple of questions today.
Okay.
And my first question is, how long have you lived in Rowlett?
My wife and I moved to Rowlett in August of 2011. We had been in Seattle, and I was retiring, and we had one move left in us. So we looked around quite a while and to see where we wanted to go, and we picked Rowlett. And so this is our 15th and final move.
15.
15th since 92.
And another thing, I just wanted to let everyone know that you are the vice chair of the Senior Advisory Board. And I would like to know, tell the audience what that involves.
We do a number of things, with Senior Advisory Board, we do a number of things trying to help seniors. We have educational seminars. We have 6 of those a year, and also a health fair. A health fair is our biggest thing that we do. We have upwards to 200, if I remember right, that come to our fair. But that got toppled over with our last one of Cut the Cord, headed up by Rob Rose. So we had over 300 people there, and that was absolutely a record for us. But all these things take some involvement and some time and working and trying to come up with ideas of things we can do. And it's fun. I mean, now I have the time, not raising a family anymore. Not involved in business and working long, hard hours, so spare time, it's a good way to do it. And being on a senior advisory board, you learn so much about the city. It's just astounding all you learn, and it's been a real educational process for me, because I have never been involved with city affairs till I got to Rowlett. And that's been an eye-opener and a true pleasure.
And also, you're really involved. And I have to tell you, I want to ask you another question here. I heard that you help with the GED tutoring at the Rowlett Public Library.
That's been the joy of my retirement. So young adults come in for whatever reason, they didn't get their GED, and they need to restart that. But to see the kids' eyes open when they just tell me they can't do something, they just can't do it, and then you see the eyes open, and it fills your heart. And the greatest experience of all, my last 2 students were refugees from Miramar, and because they snuck out of the country, they could not get their GEDs. So they were both had shortcomings in math, and I tutored both of them, and with those 2 girls, it was just wonderful.
Well, thank you. And I want to let you know that you have also been elected as vice chair for the year coming, 2020.
Yes, another pleasure.
Well, good. Well, thank you. Thank you for all of that. And one last question is, how does volunteering make an impact on your life?
Volunteering through the Senior Advisory Board and the volunteering for the GED, and I have got into some of the politics for the city, and I had never done that before. And in that, I know every council member, and I know the mayor, and they are as fine a group of people as you could possibly find. They're just really, really good people, and that includes Pam. She's done a lot of good for our city. She now represents the city council to us, to the senior advisory board, and it's a pleasure to have her back.
Once again, congratulations on winning the Spirit of Rowlett Award for November.
Thank you.
Thank you for all that you do for our community.
It's a pleasure doing it. It truly is. I recommend it to anybody that can spend any time.
Do you know someone who makes a difference in Rowlett? Nominate them for the Spirit of Rowlett Award at rowlett.com/spirit.
The Commission for Accreditation of Parks and Recreation Agencies, also known as CAPRA, has reaccredited the City of Rowlett Parks and Recreation Department for 2019. This ensures Rowlett will remain CAPRA accredited for the next 5 years. So why is that impressive? Well, CAPRA accreditation is the only national accreditation for parks and recreation agencies. This mark of distinction indicates that Rowlett has met all the rigorous standards related to management and administration of lands and facilities, resources, programs, safety, and services. Councilmember Blake Margolis sat down with the Director of Parks and Recreation, Angie Smith, to discuss the extensive application process and why this is great news for Rowlett citizens. Let's take a look.
I'm here today with Angie Smith, Director of the Rowlett Parks and Recreation Department, and I'll be asking her some questions about CAPRA and the accreditation that we just received, the reaccreditation that we just received. So let me start off by asking you, Angie, tell me a little bit about CAPRA and what does that mean for Rowlett?
So CAPRA is a recognition put forth by the Commission of Agencies of Parks and Recreation that really recognizes Rowlett Parks and Recreation as one of the best in the nation. So there are about 176 agencies across the United States that are currently accredited out of 8,000 agencies. And so it's a big deal for Rowlett, and it's a big deal for the Parks and Recreation team.
So what are some benefits to the City of Rowlett for receiving this accreditation?
The main benefit is that the citizens of Rowlett know that their Parks and Recreation Department is doing everything the best that it can be done. We have the best policies, we have the best procedures, we have the best programs, we have the best volunteer organization and how we run our volunteer program. We are doing things better than 7,000 other agencies across the nation. We're doing things better than 510 other agencies in the state of Texas. And it also means that when it comes time to apply for grants and it comes time to apply for additional awards, those that are accredited go to the top of the list. It really is across the board in Parks and Rec, the distinguishing factor between these guys do it the way it should be done and these guys just do it.
So tell me about the reaccreditation process and how long did that take and what does it involve?
So our initial accreditation happened 5 years ago. And during your initial accreditation, you work about 24 months prior to having site visitors on site to really gather all of the information for the accreditation process, right? And then site visitors, so it goes to the commission and the commission reviews it. Site visitors come on site 5 years ago, they spend a week here, they go through all of our documentation, they go to all of our facilities, they go through everything that Rowlett Parks and Rec does. And then they award the initial accreditation. Once you are initially accredited, you don't just get to put it in a box on a shelf for the next 5 years and then do it again. So you really have to prove when they come back out for reaccreditation that for the last 5 years that you've been accredited, that you've done what you said you would do. So if we had a policy that said that we're going to track a certain part of information, we have to show where the last 5 years we did that. So the process is similar. We submit what's called a self-assessment to the commission. The commission is a board of about 15 people that are from across the country. They review it, 2 of them review it, then they send it to our site visiting team. Our site visiting team composed of 3 people. They came in the first week of June. They came in on a Sunday. They were in our facility from Monday through Thursday, literally picking through every piece of documentation. So there are 151 standards. At a minimum, everyone has 2 to 5 pieces of documentation that show that we are doing what we say we're doing. In addition to that, they did tours, they visited with staff, they came to the rec center, they went to all of our parks, they visited City Hall. So that is a very long week of having people on site, really making sure that you are meeting the standards that you say you're meeting.
So kind of get into what was one of the things that you had to adjust or change in order to qualify for this accreditation?
One of the biggest things really for us was our partnership with police and how that has really strengthened as a part of accreditation. So the police department and the Parks and Recreation department have always worked well together. We rely on them anytime we have disruptive patrons or we have an issue at a park. But training police staff specifically on parks ordinances and cross-training my staff to be the best liaisons to police was a huge part of this process. And so leading up to it, the police chief and I worked very, very close initially. For the last 5 years, the police chief and Monica Patterson and I have worked very, very closely together to ensure that as we're training new police staff, they know all about the parks ordinances and specific park challenges and things to look for, but also that my team that's here at this community center or that's out in the parks or that's over at the aquatic center has that same relationship, that they know what to do when there is an issue prior to police arriving. And so it was really about training staff to work so much more closely. And you know, that's one of our kind of tenets, is that we serve as a juvenile crime prevention unit for the police department, and that has really helped strengthen that relationship between the two.
Kudos to you and your staff, an amazing group of people. You're an amazing director, and Parks and Recreation is just a very well-run organization with great people serving and great volunteers.
And Blake, we couldn't do that without council. You have to know that, right? So council absolutely shows us support, and the other department directors show us support, and that is what makes Rowlett Parks and Rec what it is, hands down.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ask her about her dog.
Whoa! I have the coolest dog ever! That is the mascot. Have you met the mascot of the Rowlett Parks and Recreation Department?
You can put that in there?
Are you between the ages of 14 and 20 and interested in a career in law enforcement? The Rowlett Police Department is recruiting for a Police Explorer program. The program offers young adults a personal awareness of the criminal justice system through training, practical experiences, competition, and other activities. Additionally, the program promotes personal growth through character development, respect for the rule of law, physical fitness, and good citizenship. Police Explorer programs serve as a platform from which countless young adults have launched a successful career with local, county, state, and federal law enforcement agencies. If you would like more information, please contact Sergeant Kevin Harrelson at 972-412-6240. I'm so happy to see they're actively recruiting for this program. This is a good opportunity for our youth in our community.
It absolutely is, Mayor. And you know, we kind of run a similar program for fire, and it's interesting to see how many go on into a career in fire service. This being for police services, the same thing will happen. People interested in that will learn firsthand what it is to work for a police department and some of the things and principles behind it, and then they go on to do that themselves.
And not only will it give them a leg up in that, but it will help them understand if that's really something they want to do.
Here are the public meetings in November. City Council meetings will be held on November 5th and 19th. The Planning and Zoning meetings will be held November 12th and 24th. City offices will be closed for Thanksgiving on November 28th and 29th.
Well, Brian, that wraps it up for the November show. Another busy month in the city. For the latest news and city information, visit the city's website at rowlett.com, and don't forget to follow us on social media. We'll see you next month on Spotlight on Rowlett.